What's up, guys? Welcome to Steph's Pointe and video number 1 of a 3-part shoulder strengthening series. We are going to strengthen and increase the range of motion in our shoulders with 3 different exercise routines that you can do at home with just a theraband and a rolled up towel. So today is going to be video number 1, and all the videos are going to get progressively harder. So if you like this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when I post video number 2 and 3 of the series. With all that said, let's get right into the video.
We start by lifting our arms and pressing them back, palms to the back. You want to make sure that you're opening your chest and just moving through your whole range of motion to fully warm up the shoulder joint and get the fluid moving around inside of the socket. We're going to repeat this motion 4 times, adding a contraction and a high release. So we contract, pulling our rib cage back, and then open up, lifting our sternum to the ceiling. Now grab a theraband, and we're going to take it in both hands, thumbs facing towards each other. How close your hands are determines how hard the movement will be. So put your hands at a comfortable distance that you have a good resistance, but isn't so difficult that you can't complete 8 reps. Now we're going to take the theraband and grab it just by the top portion. Then sling it over your back and across your shoulder blades. This is kind of tricky at first, but you get used to doing it after you've done it a couple times. You want it flat across your shoulder blades. Then you're going to grab it with your fingers facing forward, like this. Again, make sure it has a decent amount of resistance, so pull up on the band if it's not giving you enough resistance. Pull your arms in together and open 8 times in a slightly bent elbow position, similar to a ballet second and first. Again, pulling up if you need more resistance. You should be tired after 8 reps, so if not, you should grab the theraband higher up so that you have more resistance against your arms. Now take it back in front and grab it with your thumbs facing the outside and pinkies facing towards each other to repeat the opening motion 8 times and activate our shoulder blades. Now we're going to take it across our back once again. And grab the theraband the same way we did the first time and repeat with 8 reps. But this time lifting our arms up to the ceiling at the front. This will just add another level of resistance and activate your shoulder abductors. Now we are going to go into a plank position. If a plank is difficult for you, you can always take it to your knees to complete this exercise. We are going to be doing 8 reps of pushing our shoulders up to the ceiling, contracting our spine, and then flattening them back out to create space between our shoulder blades. This exercise is extremely helpful to activate all the small muscles in between your shoulder blades. Notice that I'm rounding the top of my spine and my pelvis is remaining completely neutral. The pelvis is not involved with this exercise at all. It is just in the shoulders. Now, grab a rolled up towel and make sure it's a nice tight roll. And you're just going to place it on the floor long ways and lay with your back on the towel. You want the towel to be just underneath your shoulder blades. You're going to lift your arms up, touch your hands to the floor, and lower them back to neutral right in front of your ribs. If this is too easy, you can increase the intensity by adding small weights in your hands, but this is more for a range of motion, so I wouldn't recommend going too heavy with weights. Simply going through this motion and focusing on your ribs staying closed and really working through your shoulders is going to help increase the mobility. It's not so much about the strength as it is the range of motion. Now we're going to remove our towel and repeat the rounding plank exercise that we were doing before 8 times. Whew, 8 of those is quite a lot. Grab your towel again to repeat the opening motion 8 times as we did before. Remember, the towel should be square underneath your shoulder blades. Also, if you would like a deeper stretch, you can take 2 towels instead of 1 and roll them up together into one roll to lift your back higher off the floor and allow your shoulders to fall further past your ears. Come on up. Now we're going to go back to a plank position and we're going to go down to our elbows. Again, you can do this on your knees or your feet. We're going to press over past our elbows, trying to stack our shoulders over our hands and then back over our elbows. We do this 8 times. Try to make sure your spine remains flat and you're working in your shoulder blades and not in your back. Now grab your towel and we're going to place it long ways this time and lay with it lined up on our spine. So it goes from the top of the tailbone up to the shoulder blades. You're going to take your hands flat on the floor and pinch your elbows in towards your sides, trying to keep your hands and arms on the floor the entire time. You will feel a good stretch in your chest as you go through this exercise. Remove the towel and repeat the rocking forward and back in your plank 8 times. Grab your towel one more time to repeat the opening chest flies on the towel. Again, if it's not a deep enough stretch for you, you can easily take 2 towels and roll them up together to lift your body off the floor and create more room for your arms to open back and stretch. Now we're going to do some simple shoulder stretches. Straighten your arm across your chest, grab it with the opposite hand and pull it in close to you. It's important that your arm is perpendicular to the floor, so it's going straight across your chest. Now we're going to do 4 small rocks going just up to your chin and down across your chest. Repeat on the other arm. Make sure you take some deep breaths here and just try to relax the muscles. Shake that out. Now lift one arm up to the ceiling, bend the elbow behind you, and grab it with the opposite arm to pull it back. Try not to move your elbow behind your head. You actually want to have it in line with your body so that you get a good stretch in a proper position. Yanking your elbow back behind your neck and using your head to pull it back is only going to twist your shoulder into a strange position that it's not meant to be. Now, release with the hand, reach around your back and see if you can touch your fingertips together or clasp your hands together. It's okay if you can't do this at first, but working towards this is a fun goal and a good way to increase the range of motion in both of your shoulders. Repeat on the opposite hand. Again, making sure that your arm is in line with your body and not yanking back behind your head. Also, make sure that your ribs and your pelvis are neutral in this stretch. Popping your ribs forward as you stretch actually decreases the amount of stretch that's going into your shoulder and relocates it into your ribs, which is not what we're aiming to do. Make sure you breathe as you stretch, of course. Now, stack your hips right over your knees and then slide your hands forward, putting your chest onto the floor and looking straight forward. So your chin should be on the ground and your chest should be open. Make sure after you slide that your hips are still stacked over your knees and you're relaxing your chest onto the floor to open up your shoulders. Also check that your arms are perfectly straight. Bending the elbows will release some of the stretch in your shoulders, and you want to make sure that you're stretching in a maximum position, so arms completely straight in front of you. And come out of it. Now we're going to go on our hands and knees and reach one arm straight down towards the floor, placing our shoulder onto the ground and pushing into the opposite hand to twist that shoulder open. You can gaze up to the ceiling to increase the stretch. If this stretch is not deep enough for you, you can lay flat on the ground with your arms in the same position and twist, bringing your top foot back across your back and over to the other side of your body. Again, looking up to the ceiling and pressing into that opposite hand will increase the stretch here. You can then release your top hand and reach it open to further deepen the stretch. Of course, listening to your body is super important. So if the first variation was good for you, then just stay there and work your way up slowly to increasing the range of motion in your shoulders. Now we're going to go to the opposite side. If being on your knees was a deep enough stretch, please stay there. But if you like the increased position, go ahead and lay flat on your tummy, twist open, and then release the top arm open to the back. And come out. Press back up and sit on your hips with your feet flat on the floor. Reach your arms back, pinkies facing towards each other, in line with your shoulders, and then slide your hips forward and slide your hands slightly back. Once you feel a nice deep stretch, you can take your knees up, pulling them as close to your nose as you possibly can, then straightening them up to the ceiling. Keep your tummy nice and tight and try to keep your knees as close to your nose as you can throughout the stretch. It's very difficult, and I constantly have to pull mine back towards my face as they slowly like to release up to the ceiling. Hold it here, and then slowly bend the knees, come down, and come out of the stretch. For the final stretch, we're going to press into a bridge by putting our hands underneath our shoulders, feet hip distance apart, and pressing our hips up to the ceiling. In this, you want to press all of your weight over your hands. The goal is to get your shoulders past your wrists and deepen the stretch into the top part of your spine, as opposed to keeping it in the knees where you're pressing into your lumbar spine. Relax down to the floor and you're done.
Alright, I hope you found this video super helpful. If you did, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the next 2 videos of this 3-part series. And when you need a shoulder to lean on, you turn to dance. So make sure your shoulders are strong so you can dance strong. Because if not, then what's the point? Bye guys!